What's going on YouTube? Q back here again with another video for you. Today's video, I'm about to be talking about if the M2, and we'll just lump in the M3 and M4, most likely the M4 because the M3 is a sedan and people don't consider those as muscle cars really. But is the M2 really a muscle car? So I had somebody comment to say he'll come back to the channel once I get a muscle car. I'm like, this is a muscle car. What is you talking about, boy? But the M2 is a muscle car, and I got a bunch of reasons why. Same goes with the M4 as well. So this is a German car, but it has a lot going for itself in the muscle car department. So let's define a muscle car. Mustang, that's all I'm using, is a Mustang. Whatever they call a Mustang is what I consider a muscle car. It's one of the first muscle cars. If you want to get technical, it's a pony car. But nowadays the muscle cars kind of evolved into sports cars, especially the Camaro. But the only real true muscle car left is the Challenger, and that's about to go away. And I'm gonna get to a point about that car that's similar to this car in just a moment here. But a little bit of backstory: I've had 3 Mustangs, 2 Camaros, a Challenger Hellcat, and an RT all-wheel drive Charger. So I got a lot of wheel time behind muscle cars. So I'm going off my personal experience and telling you why I think the M2, M3, and M4 are all muscle cars. So in the simplest form, a muscle car is normally a car with horsepower, wheel drive. They generally have short trunks and long hoods. This has all of that: rear wheel drive, short trunk, long hood. Same thing goes to the Mustang, the Challenger, Camaro, all muscle cars to me, as is this, the M4 as well. So the muscle car, generally big horsepower, and I'll keep this in line with the V8 forms of the muscle car. So we got the SS Camaro, the Mustang GT, and the RT Challengers. I'll go with the Scat Packs too. So they all have the same recipe, and this is one of those as well. So this would technically be like a pony car. Whatever the Mustang is, I believe the M2 is. And the word sports car is loosely used nowadays, but some people define them certain ways. Pony cars, Mustang, Camaros. Muscle car is a Challenger. Sports cars are generally 2 doors with no back seats, but they all kind of considered sports cars, and muscle cars are kind of used interchangeably. So that's the preface of this, and that's how we're going to look at it. So with the muscle cars, most people care about the horsepower, and this is right on par with those cars with the horsepower. So the Mustang GT has, I think it got knocked down 5 horsepower, so it's like 455, or did it get knocked down 10? It's either 450 or 455 now. The Camaro is 455 in the V8 form. The Scat Packs are like 475 horsepower, and the RTs are like high, like 385 maybe. And this M2 competition is 406 horsepower, and that's to the wheels. If it was at the crank, it would be closer to like what, 450, 460. So it's the same recipe, and this is lighter. So the American muscle cars are generally rated at the crank, and BMW rates their stuff to the wheels. And the M3 and M4, they're even more powerful. So the M3 has 425 horsepower, 444 horsepower, and all the way up to like 460 something, depending on what you're looking at. And the new M2 has, I forgot, but it's either even higher than all of those. Since the M2 comes with the V6, just kidding, inline 6. Do not call a BMW car a V6. This is an inline 6, straight 6. But the muscle cars in their origins, they had inline 6s, V6s in their early days, so that's how they began. Humble beginnings. And this car is a twin turbocharged inline 6, so that's how it gets its power. So the M3 did have a V8 in one of its iterations. The E90, E92 M3s, the E9X M3s, they did have a V8. It's the only one, high revving V8. But now they're going to turbo inline 6s. And believe it or not, you know what else is going to have a turbocharged inline 6? The Mopars are. So the Hurricane ones, I know they got the EV, but they put a lot of money and development into their Hurricane engine, and it's supposed to be faster than the V8. The inline 6 is going to be the new wave. And the Camaro, can't really say much about the Camaro because the future is dim until the 7th generation comes out, but they haven't announced that yet. The Mustang, you would be a fool to think Ford doesn't want to cram one of their EcoBoost engines into a Mustang. They did it with the F-150, and it's their #1 seller. But we got traditionalists like myself, we want a V8 in our muscle cars. But not every manufacturer can do that, because Ford would get so much backlash. They put a turbocharged EcoBoost V6 in their Mustang. They could do it. I know they want to do it for sure, but they got to keep the loyalists happy and their customers. The Mustang has heritage, so you can't really play around with things of that nature. Shout out to the men of culture. Got 100 Gang Nate, Blueprint 1LE, race car friends. All got muscle cars. Actually, shout out to my guy, Race Car 21 as well. So going back to the characteristics of these muscle cars, they all differ. So my M2, it revs pretty high. So we got the Mustang that likes to rev too. The Camaro is a torque monster. The Mopars, they're definitely torque monsters. And then we got cars like the GT350. That car likes to rev out too. So the engines don't have a single characteristic. This car mixes torque with the revving out. So once those turbos hit, I'm revving out with the power. The other cars, the Camaro is like a mid-range car. Mustang, top end, as well as the Mopars too. Another reason I really consider this a muscle car, it handles just like the Mustangs and the Camaros. The wide bodies, those handle well for big cars. I haven't driven one personally, but they handle well as well. And the modifiability of these things. These cars are highly modifiable. So people with the V8s, they'll get their cam, you get your superchargers, you get the twin turbocharged. People can modify these like that too, and they can make huge power. Like just with a tune, intercooler, downpipes, I can make some nice power, and I can get to those upper trims of the muscle cars, pony cars, the sports cars. So I would be right up there with them in terms of power should I modify them. And if you modify one of those like a Hellcat, you can get dumb big gobs of horsepower. So this can do all of those things. The aftermarket is huge for this car, especially the M3 and M4, because they have heritage as well. They've been around for a long time, like 30 something years. So they're gonna have the aftermarket for it. And then you're looking at just look at the stance of it. You see these hips on this thing? These hips just poke out on the side, man. It's got some wide tires. It's got 265s on the rear here. Just look at the stance of this thing, man. Those hips poke way out. Reminds me of the Camaro, how wide they poke out. So in my honest opinion, this car should be right along with the rest of them as far as muscle cars go. The heart of it is an inline 6 turbocharged. The way of the world is going to be that, but BMW has always been that, except for the E90 M3s. So inline 6, the bread and butter. They even make it pop and cackle just like the Camaro does on D-Cell. There we go. Acceleration. This car has the same characters as these cars, man. I am telling you. The only difference is, like I said, the heart of it, and it's German, but it is the German muscle car. And a lot of the Germans, to be honest, like Mercedes, they do the same thing too. The C63, that's also a muscle car. But yeah, that's my opinion on my M2 being a muscle car. So the same kind of videos I was making with my Camaro and the Mustangs, I'm going to do the same kind of content with this. This is going to go to the track as well. I'm trying to visit the drag strip soon. Like, I'm doing all the same stuff. Muscle car stuff. This is a muscle car life. My channel is, I don't want to be grouped in a muscle car channel because I get whatever car that I feel at the time, but they tend to be muscle cars, and this is no exception. So that's all we got for today's video. Hello to my newly wrapped muscle car right here, M2 Competition. Let me know what y'all think about the wrap, and let me know if you think that this is a muscle car or if it's not a muscle car. And give me why too. Just don't say no. You gotta explain yourself, man, because I want to have a discussion with y'all in the comment section. So that's all I'm going to leave you all with today. Thank you for watching today's upload. Check out the channel. Check out my other vehicles that I feature on the channel. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out.